Hi, I'm Jacob Suggs, and I just got back from seeing Power Rangers, the 2017 reboot, or revisit, or remake, whatever it is, about the Power Rangers. And frankly, I'm not that big of a Power Rangers fan, so I had zero expectations going into this movie. I thought it was going to be fun, but I didn't think it was going to be good, if that makes sense. And thankfully, right off the bat, I can tell you that the Power Rangers themselves are really awesome, but it's not just when they're throwing down, because their characters are pretty developed. And there's a really great campfire scene that I loved in the film. Other people have talked about it too, but it really stuck out to me. It was a really great scene. I was actually really surprised because the film actually takes its time and slows down and lets us get to know and develop these characters before we see them in action. And Bryan Cranston as Zordon was a really great addition to the movie. He doesn't have that big of a role in the film, but when he's on the screen, he does a really solid job. And of course, when the action happens in the movie, the action's just so well done. It's so cool seeing all the Zords come together, and eventually the Megazord fighting against Goldar and Rita, whatever her name is. Rita Repulsa. I'm not a Power Rangers fan. I mean, I'm really not. I know a little bit about it, but I don't know everything about it, if that makes sense. I didn't grow up with the Power Rangers. I know, I'm sorry. I didn't have a childhood, I get it. But Bill Hader as Alpha 5, I kinda love him because he would be me if I was a robot. I thought I would be K2SO, but nah, this guy is definitely me. That being said though, I also found Alpha 5 a little bit annoying, so kind of a mixed bag for me there. And frankly, if I'm being honest with you, I was looking forward to this movie, but I think Alpha 5 basically sums up my opinion on the whole movie. The whole movie for me is just okay, and it's pretty much a mixed bag, and let me explain why. And before you complain, it's disappointing for me to say that, because I really wanted to genuinely love this movie. I thought it looked cool, I thought it looked fun, I wanted to give it a shot. First off, I'm not going to beat around the bush. Elizabeth Banks as Rita Repulsa, I found terrible. She was completely awful, and Elizabeth Banks is talented, and she's proven that in the past, but as a villain in kind of a comic-y superhero movie, I can't really see it. She just never really came off as menacing to me. She never was threatening because, one, the character's design is just completely stupid and did not work for me whatsoever. It looked cool in the promotional photos, but what they don't show you is that she's got like a gold tooth right here, and every time I saw it, it just took me completely out of the moment. It was incredibly distracting. I get it. I know that sounds like really minute and really small, but frankly, it's not, and it just kind of bugged me. So I didn't find Rita Repulsa that captivating of a villain at all. I mean, she was kind of all over the place, and it felt like the film was kind of jumping to her, then jumping back to the Power Rangers, and their story was interesting, and I wanted to know more about that, but we just have to keep jumping little tidbits here and there to Rita Repulsa and what she's trying to do. And it builds up to a really cool fight, and it took me a while to realize why I thought the movie was just okay. And then about mid-movie, when the fight is happening, it hit me. The first half of the film was honestly my favorite part of the movie. If the film split into two parts, the first part's kind of the character study and understanding where these characters are coming from, and then the second part is the action. And there's a lot of contrasting tones, and the tone of this movie is what killed this movie for me. Let me explain. The character study is more dark and gritty. It kind of reminded me of like Chronicle in a way, to where how they were shooting it, and it felt very indie. But then the action just felt like every superhero movie ever. It felt like a blockbuster, and it was very, very lighthearted. I get that they wanted to make a movie that was very balanced between being gritty, like the DC Comics movies, and lighthearted and fun, like the Marvel movies. I mean, they wanted to meet that balance right in the middle to where families can bring their kids, but adults and tweens and teens can even enjoy the movie as well. However, although the first half of the movie is really good, I felt like the lighthearted tone that the second half of the movie took, and even though the action was good, I felt like being so lighthearted and different than the first half of the movie, one, made it feel like a completely different movie, and two, it just made the action feel a little bit cheesy and corny, and I kind of understand that Power Rangers aren't meant to be taken super seriously. I mean, the show, it's really corny and cheesy. I have seen a few episodes, I will admit that. I just get that it's supposed to be corny and cheesy, but I feel like it didn't match up with, the character study and the development and growth with these characters that we've seen for the majority of the film. And even though the action was cool, it didn't mesh well for me. It just didn't work. However, there was one scene at the very end of the film that it really got to me. I kind of loved it, I thought it was cool, and it's very apparent that they're setting up for sequels, which is pretty exciting. So would I want to see another Power Rangers movie? Absolutely. I think it could be fun, I think it could be interesting, and there's a lot to build on here. But that being said, I think a lot of baggage and tonal issues really hold down this movie and bog it down into just being okay. And overall, if I'd had to give the movie something on like a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say like it's like a 6. But to be completely honest with you, I saw this movie with my friend, and he brought his friend who's a massive Power Rangers fan, and that guy loved the movie. He thought it was really, really good, and, you know, probably picked out things I wouldn't catch on. But he loved the movie, so if you're a massive, massive, massive fan of the Power Rangers, this movie's probably for you. And in this case, dare I say this, I think it's for the fans. I swear, now I know how the people that go see DC Comics movies feel when they don't catch on to everything that, like, somebody that reads the comics catches on to. It's insane! I finally get it. Because not knowing anything about the Power Rangers kind of hurt my experience a little bit, I think. But if you know more about the lore and what's going on, I feel like you're gonna appreciate it way more than I would. What did you think of Power Rangers? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. Frame by frame, remember the name, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.